Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest album from Fit For An Autopsy, The Sea of Tragic Beasts, out October 25th on Nuclear Blast. The album has 10 tracks, 44 minutes in length, and this is the band's fifth full-length studio album. If you're like me and you heard the singles, you had to be salivating for this record. And let me tell you, not only my expectations were met, they were surpassed. This album is everything that I hoped for and then some. It's unapologetic, extreme, intense, aggressive, groovy, atmospheric. All of these elements are at play in this record. This album, in my opinion, really marks a step forward in the evolution of this band, in the evolution of their sound, and the evolution of their own self-DNA and their own self-being. This is a record that really showcases how talented they are and how creative they are when they approach music. They're definitely not dictated by a genre, by the sounds, or by the structures that define that genre. They're willing to go outside the box, introduce different elements into their sound in order to really evolve the overall creativity that they have, but also evolve their own music and their own approach to music. To me, that is at play on this record. This is the record that, in my opinion, is really going to springboard them to the forefront to become even a more noticeable band within the genre, but within the metal in general. Because what they've done with this record is really break the walls, take the walls down, and say that we're not going to be defined. We're going to create our own genre. We're going to create our own sound. We're going to create a record that really showcases where we are at this moment, but perhaps more important, what steps are we going to take to move us forward? That's what this album is all about. And in my opinion, you have to look at three different elements within this record to really understand that growth from the previous record to this one, but also to understand perhaps where they're going in the future. And to me, that's the structure of the record, sound, and then lyrics. Structure, let's start with that one. The change happens on an individual track basis. That allows the album to be very dynamic and very fluid. While the aggression that the overall record has, it's pretty much the glue that holds the whole album together. Because when you start looking at individual songs, every song has a different structure, every song has a different feel, every song has a different approach, different influences at play, different outside influences coming in to really dictate the tempos of the song, the mood, the overall atmosphere, the sound. So it's a very dynamic record when you're looking at a track-by-track basis, because each song is pulling you in a different direction. But then you have this overall blanket of aggression and intensity that really holds the whole album together and allows the album to not feel broken, not to feel disconnected from song to song. To me, that's extremely important when you have a record like this. You really need to have at least one common denominator that holds the whole record together to not allow it to feel like it's broken into several different pieces. Sound. When you look at the sound of this album, it really showcases the merging of genre, styles, approaches that really allows them to create songs that have very unique characteristics and they're very distinct from each other. That to me is one of the main factors on this album. It's always been a factor with this band, but on this album I feel like they've even expanded that even more. Deathcore obviously maintains its foothold within this band. Is definitely the core DNA, is definitely the core, the spinal cord of this album and of this band, but they're definitely not defined by that genre alone. You see atmospheric influences at play. You see melodic death metal influences at play. You see other genres peeking their heads into a lot of pieces and portions of their songs that you don't necessarily see in a lot of deathcore bands. So I really like what they've done here. It allows them to be more creative. It allows them to really expand their sound and not be pigeonholed to a certain structure, to a certain feel, to a certain vibe, to a certain sound. To me, if you're an artist and you want to be creative with your music, you really can't have those kind of restraints on you. And this album really breaks the chains for them. It really allows them to expand on what they've done before. And in my opinion, it really leaves the doors wide open to what they're going to do in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if they, in a future record, they include something completely out of the box that nobody's expecting, because that's the kind of band they are. They're not afraid of taking chances. They're not afraid of being innovative. They're not afraid of being creative. Lyrically, it's one of the components that this band, in my opinion, has always held very close to their heart, and that's the lyrical content. This one really falls in line with the predecessors, with the albums that came before. From a lyrical perspective, it's an album that really showcases, that gives a glimpse into the world that we live in, into our society, our demons, our pitfalls, but also the things that we can do better. They always use the lyrics on their records to really have a strong message, something that's near and dear to their heart, but something that they feel very passionate about, that they want to share with their audience. So I always applaud them for that. That's always been one of the things that attracted me to this band, is the fact that they use the platform that they have to really put a message across. That's no different on this record, and that's one of the common elements that we've seen in previous records that get transferred into this record, is that ability to really use the lyrics of their songs to talk about things that are very important to them, things that should be important to all of us, but use that platform that they have as a band to really bring them forward, bring them to their audience, make you think about them for a minute. So I really like that aspect of them. I like the fact that they haven't changed that. They haven't gone into an arena where they talk about things that are more mundane, things that are not as important, things that are not as part of our day-to-day life. So I'm really glad that they continued down this path. It's a path that's not comfortable for a lot of bands, but I really like what they've done here, because the aggression that the lyrics have really matches perfectly with the aggression that the music have. The two go hand in hand. It's really hard for you to talk about certain topics that they do on this record and not feel something burning inside of you. It's really hard to do that. So when you have music that's naturally aggressive, you match that with lyrics that are aggressive as well, you have the perfect combination to create a record that's just pure aggression and intensity from the first to the last song. The future, like I said, is really bright for this band. This is an album that really marks perhaps the next chapter for them. And if this is a chapter, the book is just starting. So there's still going to be a lot more chapters to be written after this album comes out. Let's talk about some songs. I want to talk about 3 songs outside of the singles. These were the 3 songs that I really fell in love with outside of the singles. First one, No Man Is Without Fear. By the way, this song has one of the greatest lines ever. Power doesn't make you less of a coward. We'll get into that, but that line absolutely blew me away. I absolutely love that line. This song has a very interesting structure. That to me is also another component that really attracted me to this song. The volume as the song starts really builds up until you get this wall of sound that hits you, and it hits you when the vocals kick in. And when the vocals kick in, your car failed to break and you just hit that brick wall. That's as much sound that's coming at you. The change in vocal styles really gives the song heaviness from the verses and then to a more melodic approach into the chorus. It's a song that has really that kind of the dynamic between verses and chorus. Once the chorus comes through, it's followed by really heavy breakdowns, and then you get that line, power doesn't make you less of a coward. When that line comes in, it comes in on its own during a very heavy stretch of the song. It becomes even heavier. The song becomes heavier, becomes more powerful, becomes more direct. One of the greatest lines on this record, really impactful, and it became impactful on where they placed it within the song. It really became noticeable. It really screams at you. From that, it goes into the solo. From the solo, moves into the chorus, and then it closes off the song. Really cool structure that this song has. I really like that really heavy bridge where they put that line there, because it makes it feel heavier. It gives a big punch, it gives a big kick to the song, and it really stretches out this track perfectly. By far, one of my favorite songs on the record. The other one is Your Pain Is Mine. This song is absolutely phenomenal. It's very catchy. I wouldn't say necessarily hooky, but there's a certain catchiness to this track. It has aggression. It's a song that has aggression from the beginning. The verses are heavy and they're driven. They're heavy driven, musically and vocally. You get aggression from both perspectives, not only just from the music, but also from the vocals. A song that moves from the chorus, becoming a little bit more melodic, similar to the previous one, but it never really loses the aggression, and it never really loses the intensity. I also like the fact that they use clean vocals in this song. It adds layers to it. The vocals really work well because of the layering that it has. It makes it feel like a choir almost. It's not a choir, but the fact that it has different layers to the vocal track really gives that sense of a choir. And then when you add the harsh vocals to it, is a perfect complement to it. I really feel like the combination of the two really creates this heavy melodic presence within the track. The chorus has hints, a little bit of melodic death metal in terms of the approach that they took with this specific song and how the chorus is structured, how they use the different vocal styles. That to me really gave a little bit of that melodic death metal feel to it, because it created a little bit of a haunting melody, both from the music and the vocals. The solo at the midway point creates the perfect bridge. In my opinion, this solo comes exactly where it needed to be. Perfect spot, really bridges the first half of the song with the second half of the song, and then it closes off with a vocal burst with a dragged down heavy presence at the end of the song that just really drags your body out of the track. Absolutely perfect closing, really heavy for a song that had some aggression throughout, mixed in with a lot of melody, a lot of melodic portions, specifically coming from the vocals in the chorus, and the mixture with the harsh vocals that really emphasize how melodic that portion of the song is. I really like how this song closed off. It really closed off with a barrage, with a vocal assault, followed by a really heavy stretch that closes off the track, almost like a body being dragged out. Absolutely phenomenal track. But of all three that I'm going to talk about today, my favorite one is Mourn. I absolutely love this song. It starts off with a chorus. I like that. Different style, different structure, different approach from the previous two. Starting off with a chorus, I really like the range of vocals in this song, mixing harsh vocals with clean vocals. They use clean vocals on this track a lot. It really gives melody to the song, and I really like that approach. They almost use the clean vocals as an atmospheric element. It almost feels like they're far away. It has this really distance and echo feel to it, specifically in the chorus. It gives this sense of loss. And that's how the song starts off, because it starts off with the chorus. So I really like that approach. It has a little bit of an atmospheric feel to it. The melody of the song fits perfectly with the vocal style, with the vocal range, with the vocal approach. I really like the mixture of the two. Both of them very melodic, very haunting, very distant. It has this really dark feel to it without being very heavy. At the midpoint, the song really changes dynamics. It becomes a lot heavier. It becomes relentless. It becomes almost a more traditional deathcore song at that specific point, abandoning more that dark, haunting, atmospheric elements that it had at the beginning. Then after that stretch, once you go through that really heavy midway bridge point, that you really get the song going back to its roots of deathcore, it circles all the way back again to the beginning. It goes full circle and becomes again more melodic, more haunting, more atmospheric in nature, both musically and vocally. So I really like what this song has to offer. It's a song that it's like a sandwich. It has these two melodic atmospheric elements on both ends of the track, with this extreme thick deathcore presence right in the middle of it. That's pretty much the structure that you have with Mourn, and it's very catchy. The line in the chorus, the way the vocals come at you, that hauntiness, that sense of distance, it's so hooky, it's so beautiful, it's so catchy. It's an absolute earworm of a track. One of my absolute favorite tracks on this album, without a shadow of a doubt. Alright guys, this is it. This is the latest album for Fit For An Autopsy. As always, I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys have to say about the album, the singles? Use the comment section below. As always, I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.